Hello, good afternoon. Today, 2022, July 5th, Tuesday. Yesterday, we talked about the auto renewal of the serial number to make it in sequence, and even though some of the rows are deleted or removed. But how about for several rows to be rearranged, for example, in this table, and before you submit to your boss that you have to do several tasks. So, one is to adjust the row height to make it uniform, like it's now ugly, and some sliders, for example, Thompson, to be Thompson, you should adjust it manually, okay, and the space here is too much, you have to reduce it. All these you need to do a lot of things, and afterwards you have to sort it, organize it to make it in alphabetical order in this column, and then you have to sort it also according to the date. And after all the sorting, then these numbers to be matched up, and you have to rearrange it to have the sequential order. All that is several tasks to do. You of course you can do manually if you have time and you're patient, but it's no guarantee that you will remember to do all the steps every week and every month in your report. Then you must have something missed out eventually. So the best way to use the macros. To develop the macros, you have to press development mode, say record macro, and design the macro. Now the macro is on. First, you have to highlight everything, go to review, no, go to home, and then the sort here. Then the custom sort, you will sort on F items, sort by the item, and then you add one the order you want to use that, and add another is on the date. Okay, from the oldest to newest. Now let's sort it. Of course, this one is not good, okay, but it will do later. And then we'll talk about you want to make automatic adjustment of the format. Then you adjust the auto row height, and then you adjust the auto column width. Now it's nice. And then the last thing to do is to make it right on the number, the serial number. Then this one is good. So everything is fine now, and then you can stop your macro. Stop recording, and then you go to the and go to you press what? Alternate F11. Then you will see Control R. Then you see your module, your recorded macro here. But if you study the macro, you find problems. First, this is specified, right? E2 to E39, B2 to B39, everything. You know, how about you have more rows in the future? It doesn't work. And also for this, you get 1, 2, and then you select the whole range down. This doesn't work very well. So you have to use VBA for long-term automation. Back to here. But one thing about the macros that are good, you can undo it. You can undo until the end. And using VBA is not possible. So the best way to test the VBA, you must copy it first. Make a copy, okay? That's the copy, and then you test the macro. Okay, this is the macro, you test it, press the run button, it works. But although it works, as I mentioned, it won't work in the future if you increase more rows. So the only thing you can do is use the VBA. And I already designed the VBA for that. Although the macro is not very useful, but they are good as a guideline to develop your VBA. First of all, in the first line of macro cell select, I would change it to not very nice. Okay, now I would change to cell, so again I remove this one first. And I copy this. And in case of any problem, I won't mess up with my original worksheet, right? So go back to the macro. So at the cell select, I change it. I change to design an object called active sheet. Okay. Then I design a range, and that range is from the A1 all the way down current region. Okay, so this is the current region. Now the font is too much. Let me change the format. View. No, I forgot how to change it. The options, edit formatting. Yeah, that's like too much. Maybe I reduce to 14 then. Yeah, they're better now. Now the range is A1 and current region. Then you can test whether it works. RNG select. Okay. Then it's a problem because no, that's it. It's quite hard. Anyway, I can do that. I can use the so-called immediate windows. Control G. Okay. So you can use the tested active sheet range A1 current region select. Then you see it correct, right? It's to select the whole region right nicely. So this line correct. And in the original macros, it recorded the selection, columns, autofit, that is clumsy. In VBA, you just use the with statement, and that makes it much easier. Okay, so to test it, you can select no, you can only test one of them maybe. Rows auto fit. Yeah, now the rows auto fit, right? And then your columns auto fit. The columns to be auto fit as well. Now this is the original lines in the macro. They're all too clumsy, so I remove all of them and have remove all of them. So these are all the clumsy lines from the macros, and retain only the VBA. And now what is the meaning of these lines? Is that I set two key range for sorting. Then I design the sorting is from E1 all the way down to the end. Okay, all the way to the down to the end, and you can test it Okay, for example, I tap this one. Okay, so I open Control G. And the correct sheet, and then active sheet, range. But I gotta copy that. And I go to this here active sheet, range B1 because that's easier to see for the demonstration. I change the B1 and the B1 here all the way down, and then you can select it and see. So that's correct. Okay, it won't select too much, and just select this row, and we set it to be the key range. So we set two key range. One is the E column, one is the B column. Okay, you know that the E column for items and B column for the dates. Correct. Okay. Okay, then the command is here. The range, remember, range is actually the whole range. Okay, for all the data. And then we sort it with the first sort range is the key range 1. We sort the E1 first. Okay, we sort on the item first, and then we sort on the B1 on the date. And the order, actually the optional, you can remove it because it is by default. Okay, you can remove it as well, but you can also specify that it has the beauty that in the future you may want to have a descending, then you can just change it. Okay. And the header is very important. There is a yes, it means there is a header. If you don't specify yes, then the sorting will be including this line that will be very messy. Okay, so that is for sorting. And this one all removed because it really makes no sense that you have to input 1, 2 here and then slide down, and that's not for computer to do. It's a manual work, so you must delete them. And renum. Renum, I just recall that my video yesterday about renumbering. So that should work. Okay, so if this works, I save it and I close it and have the final test. And this one I remove it again and then test it. I really hope that one day they will have the undo for using VBA. It's only workable in WinWord but not in Excel. Okay, now this is make it full screen, and then I can either two way you press developer macro and then run format sheet, my latest macro on that, VBA on that, or alternate F8. Alternate F8 and then slide and then find the one that you want to run and then press 1. Boom. Then you have all the work done. You have sorting on the item, then on the order dates, you know, for each category the binder, then on desk also using the order by the date, the pen also by the date, you know, pen flat, everything, pencil also by the date. Okay, and then we have all the rows automatically adjusted, column automatically adjusted, and this 1, 2, 3, everything is now in sequential order. Okay, thank you for listening to this sharing experience in Excel, and hope to talk to you about the next tips in the near future. Have a nice day. Thank you.